Hi, all, and welcome back to A World of Bookish Adventures. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Amanda, and we're excited to share with you today's podcast.
So, today, Amanda, you are going to be sharing your journey with all of us to the Last Bookstore in LA. And I will tell you, I have been waiting all week to hear this story, so I can't wait to find out what it's all about.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, and I truly hope I do this place justice because it was one of those cool little hidden gems I was not expecting. I was really excited to find it, and I'm excited to talk about it, and I wish I had seen anything like that since then. But anyway, in 2016, I was presenting a session at the Housing First Partners Conference, which is a national conference for anybody such as case managers, social workers, policy advocates, and so forth to learn more about ending homelessness in the United States. So, as I mentioned all the way back in our very first episode, I am a social worker, and that is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. So, as I said, it's a national conference. It's hosted in different cities each year. So, in 2016, it was held in Los Angeles, California. So I was in LA for about a week, and I had my own presentation that I had to present. I was attending other people's presentations. We did a walking tour, so to speak, of Skid Row, which was very sad. But I also had time to do a little bit of sightseeing for some of the other things that are in LA. So of course I did the big stuff, like I saw the Hollywood sign from a distance, and I did the Walk of Fame, which in case you don't know, that's where all the stars are literally on the ground and have the names of different actors and musicians and so forth. So I did go tour some of those areas and go check it out. While I was walking around LA, I happened to come across this store called the Last Bookstore. And just from the name of the store alone, I knew I had to go in and check it out.
So I have to say, I'm so sad. I was in LA almost about the same time, maybe a year or two later than what you're sharing with me. And like you said, did all the big stuff and all the sign, all the things, but I didn't know about this. I'm so bummed I didn't know about this bookstore. So I'm glad we're learning about it now. Should I ever go back to LA?
Yeah, and it was one of those things that was a total accident. I was just walking around looking for some place to eat. And, with a name like the Last Bookstore, it's like, whoa, what is this? Of course, it's not actually the Last Bookstore, but it is definitely the most unique that I've ever been in. So I went inside to check it out. And, I've been in dozens of bookstores throughout my life, right? I mean, any of us obviously listening to this, we've been in however many bookstores in our lives trying to find, our next big adventure. We're not going to do a podcast episode on every single bookstore, right? So what was so special about this one? Honestly, it was like its own little wonderland. It was just so cool on the inside. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can see some of the pictures that I took of this place. And it's amazing. I mean, first of all, it's gigantic. So according to their website, it is the largest bookstore in the entire state of California, and it's over 22,000 square feet, and it is also several levels, so it's really just gigantic. If you can imagine the size of an IKEA and there's a bookstore in there, that's what we're talking about. It's just huge. And there is on the inside what can only be described as like book art. What I mean by that is it's almost like they've built like sculptures and decorations, but it's not made out of clay or stone or anything. It's made out of old books. So they're just stacked up books that are in various shapes and so forth, and then pages into, little fluttery looking things. So it's like little quirky book art corners where you can just see old books that have been recycled into art.
I love like 22,000 square feet. I'm trying to wrap my brain about going to a bookstore that's that large. Like, I don't think my brain can comprehend the sheer enormity that this bookstore has.
Yeah, it's the biggest one I've been in, for sure. Not that not that I make a point of like finding the biggest bookstore in every state, but when I say it was like an IKEA, it really, in hindsight, feels like that. It was just gigantic and just going up on the multiple levels and so forth. any book, I would imagine anyway, any book you could find, they either have it or will find a way to get it.
And I love this, and like you said, for those on YouTube, I love the book art. I mean, I've seen, like, TikTok videos or Instagram videos of people, making books into different art, or using. I've seen them where they've taken the pages and maybe have done like flowers or wedding bouquets or things like that. But these sculptures that you're showing us and all these decorations, what an incredible way to recycle books that maybe are too damaged or people can't really use them, but to be able to repurpose them in such a cool way. I think that's amazing.
It really is. It's really cool, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how that looks in just a moment. But just so everyone knows, the books that are part of the art part are not for sale. They're permanent fixtures in the store. And there's even signs that say books not for sale, because probably there's always somebody who is like, yeah, I want that one right there at the bottom of the pile. And we don't need to be knocking over the art, right? But anyway, I'll tell you a little bit more about that later because it leads into what is my favorite part, and I'm saving the best for last. But also, in addition to books, the Last Bookstore also deals in vinyls. And while that's not a hobby of mine, I know that it's become very popular and more common for people to collect vinyls and look for certain labels. And they also deal in rare books and art, as well as just your, oh, here's our new releases, right? So you can't view them online, because I was curious and I wanted to see what they have, but they don't have those things online right now. So you have to physically be present in the store to view their collection, and you have to have a staff member with you. They take it very seriously. But I also didn't get any pictures of those sections because, again, I didn't, since that wasn't something I was particularly interested in myself, I didn't go in since I didn't have a staff member accompany me. But they take it very seriously. So if you're interested in collecting rare books or vinyls or art, they definitely have entire sections just for those things.
I think that's so. I personally don't collect vinyls, but I do have a record player and I do have albums from my childhood that I've just kept. They've traveled with me and I've kept them throughout the year. And every once in a while, if I'm shopping like in an antique store or something like that, you guys always see bins of old records, old vinyls of different genres and stuff. So sometimes I'll just poke through and see if I find any good 80s rock bands or any good 80s music or something, or good show tunes or stuff like that to grab. So I think it's really interesting that they have a section that's dedicated to dealing with vinyls and rare books as well.
Yeah, they definitely are 100% all in when it comes to these things. So even though I didn't get to see like specifically what they had, I know some of the things they talked about on their website were signed by the author, first editions, like things like that you're not going to find just anywhere. So those are the types of things. If you are in LA and that is your hobby, you definitely want to check them out. But it seems like it's pretty cool, and they obviously they have protection, take those things pretty seriously. So, but yeah, that's that section. And now getting into my favorite part. I've mentioned before I'm a big nerd, right? My favorite part of the store was called the Labyrinth, and whether or not you're on YouTube, you at least got to go on their website and check out some of these pictures or their Instagram and see what this looks like. It is so cool. You really do feel like you're just lost in a maze of books, and it is not a scary feeling, it's a beautiful feeling, unlike the rest of the store. So like the rest of the store is, it's huge, right? It has a really big open air feel, very lots of natural light and airy and lots of space. Not so much in the Labyrinth. You go in the Labyrinth part and it's just shelves upon shelves upon shelves of books, kind of like if you've see old timey libraries in like movies and old shows and stuff, where it just the shelves seem to go on forever. That's what that feels like, and you're just surrounded by these books. And then they also have, in this section particularly, is where they have my favorite genres, which are science fiction and fantasy, as well as mystery, thrillers, and true crime books. So basically, it's just the giant nerd section of the store.
I love that. I love that. The giant nerd section of the store. That's awesome.
It is. It truly is because it's like they picked all the nerdiest topics and put them in a giant maze and said, "Here you go. Go get lost in there. Have fun." And it's just great. So you go through this huge, incredible maze of shelves surrounded by just thousands of books. And this is where some of those book sculpture looking things come in because every so often you come across like some quirky little window made out of even more books. And you can see another part of the labyrinth through this window. And then there's another little arch of books. And there's all kinds of things where it's like you can see different parts of the labyrinth. And obviously, unless you want to get yourself in trouble, you're not going to go crawl through the book art, but it just kind of gives you an idea of you think you've come to the end, but then you go around this section and you see even more. So it just added to the experience of being lost in this incredible maze of books. And you can also see, if you look on their Instagram, people have taken all kinds of selfies, pictures there, where you can just kind of frame your face in one of these little book windows. I was alone when I went to do the tour, so I didn't do that. So I don't have one of those super cool pictures, but other people have. And even if you look, they have a pet day. Somebody even took a picture of her dog for Instagram, and the dog is in the little window frame of books. Yeah.
Maybe we'll try to look for those pictures and share them online so people can kind of see some of the quirky things that they did.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a lot of fun. So when you're going through the labyrinth, you're taking your pictures, and then the coolest thing is what they call their famous book tunnel, and that is exactly what it sounds like. It is a tunnel literally made out of books. So I'm guessing they use glue. I don't know, but all the books are arched over little hallway. So all the books are arched over, and you can walk through this tunnel of books and see what it looks like. Lots of people like to take selfies there. I did take a selfie there, but it came out pretty dark. So we're going to stick it on YouTube anyway because, I was there and proof and all that. But, that's another great photo op for people. But if you want to see better pictures of what it looks like, you can see some examples on their website and Instagram. It's just this really cool feature, and it just feels like book magic. It's just, you're just surrounded, 180 degrees, in any direction. The only part not covered in books is the floor. So, it looks like just a magical tunnel. And according to what I was able to see on social media, they even added lighting. So they have like little string lights that go through there, so that way you don't get that disappointing dark selfie that I got.
The labyrinth section is a lot of science fiction and fantasy and mysteries and thrillers and true crime books. So I'm going to kind of assume that they've separated the different parts of the bookstore by genre. So is that like the main places? If those are the books you're looking for, that's where you want to head?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah, so you're not going to find your cookbooks there, right? You're not, if you want to make a pot roast, probably don't want to go to the true crime section. But it's separated. They have one section for your vinyls, one section for your rare books. The bottom floor is the self-help and the languages and the cookbooks and all that kind of stuff. And then when you get to the labyrinth part, that's where you have your mysteries and thrillers and sci-fi and things like that.
Now, are a lot of these books like used books that they're reselling, or do they have new books as well, or a combination?
So in the labyrinth section or in the regular bookstore section, it is there are new books. I believe they do have a used book section that is next to the rare books. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I can't quite place it in my brain.
I just think that's so cool. And I just love the concept of this book tunnel. I mean, how fun to kind of walk through and take your pictures and feel like you're being transported to another alternate universe where everything is made of books.
Oh, definitely. It kind of reminds me of like, when we were kids, and I know we're showing our age a little bit by bringing up this movie, but the Matilda movie with Danny DeVito, from years and years ago, where she's got the books flying all around her head, kind of feels like that. So,
Or maybe a Harry Potter theme with all the
oh, there you
books
go.
flying around or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want to age ourselves too much. So yeah, let's go with the Harry Potter analogy. I like that better. But actually, not surprisingly, this place is so popular that you can actually book the labyrinth for photo shoots. So people have done photo shoots there, engagement photos, special events, and people will even have weddings there. So it really is something to see. So when I say that this place is amazing, I absolutely mean it. It's immersive. It's just overwhelming in the best way. So, just being surrounded by books, like, of course, you're going to want to see these cool photos. So, and then, of course, I did buy a few books, but that was years ago. I can't remember what they were, but I'm sure they were great.
And I just think it's really cool that they have created, like you said, such an immersive experience. Don't get me wrong. I love going to a bookstore and wandering the aisles and looking at the books. But when the owners go out of the way to make it so unique, so immersive, from pictures to experiences to buying books, I mean, that's when you can just get lost for hours in a bookstore, just enjoying the environment they've created.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to buy anything to really enjoy your experience there. I did because I have no self control. But if you wanted to just get lost in a labyrinth and just wander around, that would totally be worth the trip.
Yes. And we will share on our YouTube as well as our other social media pages the address and all the information. So if you're listening to us in LA or if you're planning on going out to LA, you'll know where to find it. Well, Amanda, that was so awesome. I'm so excited. Like I said, all week I've been like, are we doing zombies? Are we doing apocalyptic? And I purposely stayed off of the computer. I didn't Google it. I didn't look. I didn't do anything like that because I wanted to hear it from your experience. So it sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it if you're out that way. All right. So, Shannon, what is our next podcast episode going to be about?
Well, I'm so excited because next week I'm going to be sharing the famous bookstore Shakespeare and Company that's in Paris, France. It's listed as one of the top 10 international bookstores that you get to go to. I got to go there this summer when I spent my month in Europe, and I cannot wait to tell everybody about this experience.
I look forward to hearing it because, as you can tell from my podcast portion today, I do enjoy a good bookstore. So, looking forward to that. Thank all of you for being part of our podcast. So, we look forward to connecting with you every week. And as always, we invite you to join us on our social media pages, as well as to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as your favorite podcast platforms. And you can find all of the information in our link tree.
And don't forget, we want to hear your own bookish adventure stories with us. Thank you to those that have sent them in. And Man and I will be planning a mini episode coming up to share some of these experiences with you. So if you want to be involved, please either fill out the form in our link tree or email us your adventures at awobapodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, read more books.
And then go explore.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.